we are going to focus on the ultimate go high level email marketing. And today specifically is going to be about setting up workflows and sequences. So what this means is that, instead of just sending one email like the broadcast that we did, we are going to set up an automation, a workflow campaign that can run for months, years, whatever, And the good thing about this is that once you are able to set this, you can set it up for, let's say, a workflow to collect payment or for your newsletters, for any kind of workflow that you have in your business, you can set it up. So once the trigger, whatever trigger you have, once it kicks in, is going to send emails and do other things. You can have all different actions in this email sequence. So that is what we are going to do. And for today, we are going to focus on, let's say, a newsletter. And so let me just go straight to my slides and go start with it since we are falling behind with everything. So here, as I said, today's session is Go High Level email marketing, and we are going to focus on Evergreen newsletter. When we say Evergreen, it means that a newsletter or something that doesn't get old. So it means that it's perpetual. You can use it over and over and over again. You can use it for any client who falls within that workflow. And so if you have a business and let's say you need to educate your customers or you need to really nurture your leads who are not your customers yet, this is the kind of sequence that you want to have. So like every week or every month or every day, depending on how you want to approach this, you can send these emails in a sequence to these leads or these customers. And this is very valuable because you set it once and it runs forever until you want to make any changes. And anytime there is a new lead or a new customer added to your contact list, you don't have to do anything as long as they fit into that criteria, let's say the tagging or the trigger, they are going to be part of that sequence. So as usual, let's get into it. So last week we set up the email marketing. I showed you how you have to configure your email. You have to make sure that it's set up properly so that it can increase the deliverability. We went over that and I asked you guys to let me know in the comment section if you want to know how to configure your email with Go High Level so that you can get high deliverability rates. We also talked about branding your email from scratch, so your company logo and all that kind of stuff. Showed you different templates of how you can do this using the builder flow by also using the HTML or using the text, right, which helps with high deliverability. So you have three different templates that you can pick from. We also talked about personalized emails with dynamic fields or custom values. So you don't have to mention each customer's name. You can say customer or contact first name, and it doesn't matter whether you have 2 or 1 million contacts. It's just going to pick up their names and send it and personalize it to each individual. We also selected the recipients or the segment. So let's say you have 1,000 customers, right? You have or 20,000, and you just want to send a campaign, a broadcast campaign to, say, your the clients who have, let's say, showed interest in your coaching program. You can send it to only those segment of contacts that are interested. You don't want to blast it to your whole list because you might have different offers and you have segmented them. So you can pick a segment and say that, okay, I want you to send it to this particular group of people and not those group of people. So that is how it is. And then we schedule that broadcast so we can schedule it for the future, with a specific date and a specific time. And also I showed you how you can track this and see your performances and rectify things if things are not going well. So I showed you a dashboard. You always get a dashboard with Go High Level, and that's how it is. So for today, what we are going to talk about is the next level. So the broadcast was just sending a one-time email. Now, when we talk about sequences, we are talking about something that happens, step by step, based on different conditions, based on different triggers, based on what is happening, based on tags, whatever is happening in the business. That is what we use sequence for. And for this tutorial, we are going to use a newsletter, Evergreen newsletter. So this newsletter is going to be something that is going to go and educate my people, my clients or my leads. Let's say every Monday, 9 o'clock in the morning, this is going to kick off and send it to them. And this builds trust with your client, your clients or your customers or your leads know that you care about them. You are sending them valuable information. It could be updates in the news. If you are a tax, let's say accountant, what you'll be doing is to educating them like every week, especially during the tax season. That is what you want to be doing. If you are a real estate agent, you want to be using this Evergreen newsletter to advise your clients or your leads how the mortgage market is working, updates, news, and what have you. And you can set this, let's say, for instance, you want to your clients or your leads opt into your newsletter, then what's going to happen is that they get an email, a welcome email. And once they get that welcome email, they get, let's say, depending on how you want to do this, you set it up for maybe 7 days. It sends them another email. And then this can continue up to a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. You set it once and you forget about it, and everybody who submits that form, newsletter form, is going to get that. So this is really valuable. And just before the demo, if you have Go High Level account, then I want you to log into your account. If you don't know how to build this, then you can follow along whilst we do this demo. You know that this is where we get our hands dirty. So log into your account if you have your Go High Level account. If you don't have Go High Level account, then Sandrine is going to drop the affiliate link. And a little disclaimer here, I use this Go High Level tool. It saved me thousands of dollars every month. I've been using Go High Level since 2017, 2018. And there's a suite of tools, right? You have more than 20 to 30 tools in there. You can use it for pretty much everything that your business runs on. So this is something that is going to save you a lot of money. If you don't have Go High Level, you are leaving a lot of money on the table. Now, if you're a business owner and you are very busy, just like any other business owner who wants to, follow do what brings income to the business, and this is not something that you have time for, we'll be happy to talk to you. I help small businesses in South Florida and across the globe with all their AI solutions and digital marketing, everything that your business needs. We'll be happy to talk to you. And also, I have my calendar here. You can book a 30 minutes free consultation. I can advise you and tell you where you can go with your business, what is possible for your business. So if we cannot help you, we are going to point you in the right direction. I have a big network of other marketers who are very specialized in different niches. So if it's something that we cannot help you, we can point you in the right direction, and we can also educate you. If you are working with another marketing company, we can tell you what you need to be looking out for and all that kind of stuff, because most of the clients that we've been getting are clients who have been burned, by other marketing agencies. There are a lot of sharks out there. So we'll be happy to talk to you and help you review your business and see what is working and what is not working. So let's get into the demo right away without wasting any time. I said, if you have Go High Level, just log into your account, select your business, and make sure that you are in the email settings. So without further ado, let me go into my go high level and let's get this thing started right away. Now, first of all, we want to make sure that we are able to capture the leads, right? So for this, you can have it in two different ways. You can have a database of customers who are already, doing things in your business. Maybe they are leads who haven't spent money yet, and you might have a section of customers who have done business with you, but you want to send them some kind of newsletters and education, and it could be a trigger which is just onboarding, right? You get a customer who signs up, and you sign up and you want them to go through a series of email automation where first of all they go into they get the welcome email, you onboard them, they get a second email to fill some forms and to give the account information, login information, so you can get into that. Once you finish that part, maybe you send them another email for something else, right? This can go on and on and on till it finishes, and you can have an evergreen one which is something that is perpetual. So like I said, for this demo, I'm going to do an evergreen email sequence. Now we need a form to capture this lead. So I'm going to build a form right quickly so that we can go on. That is what we are going to use to capture this lead. So here we come here, we can build a form with an AI. Everybody's using AI right now. There's an AI layer in Go High Level, so you can do things manually or you can build things with AI. I'm going to do this manually. I always want to show people how to do it manually so that once they understand the framework and the baseline, they can always use AI to help them. So here I'm just going to create. I could pick from templates. I could get it from build with AI. I can use it a blank one. So let's say I want to pick it from a template. I'm going to which template, what kind of template. There are so many templates here. Which one are we going to use, right? It's up to you. I'm not going to use that template, but I just wanted to show you. So I'm just going to, let's see here, create a blank one, sales. So here I want to say newsletter form, right? I have to name the form so that so this is a newsletter form, and then I create it right here. See here. No. So sorry about that. Yeah, I need to create it here. So it wasn't a campaign. So I have to create a form. Yes, that's why I got confused with that. Yeah, so create form from scratch, and then I'm gonna start this right away. I could have picked a template as usual, but I'm going to use build it just, and then let me rename this newsletter form. And the default form is just going to give you the name. It gives you the basic, right? The first name, the last name, phone number, and email. These are the basic ones. I'm not going to go, this is not a form building tutorial, so I'm not going to spend too much time here, but you have all your options here. This can be in another video, but if you want to people to subscribe to your newsletter, you don't want to collect too many information. Otherwise, you add a lot of friction, right? So we want to delete the last name. We just want their first name so we can address them nicely in an email. People don't like to give their phone numbers, especially for just a newsletter. They will give their phone numbers after they trust you, right? So this is like strangers who find your website and they just want to subscribe to your newsletter, maybe because you have some good information. So we just want to take their first name and their email address, right? Here is all this FCC and FTC, whatever, all the compliance things that you have to do so that you don't spam people. So you have to select this based on your business. You put in your privacy policy, terms of conditions, and then you put your business name and all that. Like I said, this is not a tutorial for form building, so I'm not going to do that. So we are just going to save this. Now, once we save this, we have the option to copy this code, how we want this form to look on the website, and then we can email this to our developer to add it to our web page, and also we can grab the link, and this link will function as like an email, I mean like a web page. So we are not going to embed this on a website, we are not going to put the code on a website, we are just going to open this link as a web page. So this is the form. And if you build this on the form, I mean, on the website, if you put the code on the website, then this is going to be, put in the website depending on the size you give it. But for now, it looks like a web page. So now let's go straight into, we have our form, we've saved it. Let's go back into our automation. And automation, last time we were in email, we were in marketing, and then we created our email broadcast. This time, because this is automation, we want to be on the automation tab. And what we are going to do is that we are going to build our workflow, right? Automations, and then you come to workflow. So we are going to build that workflow. And this workflow we want is newsletter. So I'm going to use an AI to build this workflow because we've built so many workflows in our previous tutorial. So I don't want to go through the manual steps again. If you want to see how we build this, you can go to our YouTube page and you are going to see, go through that, automate your entire business with one sentence using Go High Level. All these things talks about how to build workflow. So I don't want to spend too much time over there. So here we are going to build it with an AI, and I've already prepared a prompt that we are going to use. So this prompt is saying that we are going to create a workflow called Evergreen newsletter sequence. When someone submits my newsletter form, immediately send a welcome email, wait 7 days, and then send email newsletter email one, and then you wait another 7 days, send email newsletter email two, and then repeat this for 7 emails, right? So this is our builder prompt. And what we are going to do is just to copy this whole prompt, and we are going to, alternatively, we can build this manually. If you really want to go granular and give more instructions, I can still copy the same steps. Without this prompt, I can copy these whole steps from here. And this is more granular because here I'm telling it what the subject line should be, what each email subject line should be, and all those kind of stuff. So if you want it to be very detailed, then you can go with the step by step. You can write it up and it's going to, your AI can give you a step by step or just a prompt. Now we are using a prompt, but if we want to go into details, subject line is like welcome Baykes Cloud newsletter, but we are not going to do that. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the alternate ways you can do this if you want to go granular without doing a lot of edits, because once this finishes you want to edit it. So let's go back here and we are going to do create a workflow, and there are options here. You can start from scratch, build using AI, select, and whatever option that you pick is still going to give you the AI. So let's say we are starting from scratch, it's still going to give me the option to use the AI. So now we come here. Now this is a blank template and we still have the AI builder here, so we can automate it. So all that I'm going to do is that I'm going to put in my prompt, or if you like, you just copy the step by step and then put it. And then all that you need to do is to click enter and then just chill and see what's going to happen. This might take only about 20, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, depending on how complex the workflow is. But there are a couple of edits that we have to do in there. So the AI understands the whole logic, how this works, the newsletter, it understands everything. So, you have to keep an eye over here just to make sure that it's not asking any questions, because sometimes it's going to ask you some questions before you proceed. So you want to keep your eye on this sidebar to make sure that everything that it needs, it's not asking you any questions, and you can also chat with it, ask questions or make changes and all that. So once this is ready, it's just going to tell me that everything is ready. So now it's building this whole email template from the scratch, and it's going to fill it with content and what have you. You might go inside and decide what you want and what you don't want. So now, just within less than a minute, this is done, right? And let me close the builder here and drag this to the middle. So now we have a trigger, and the trigger is the form that we just created. Once you fill that form, this is going to kick off. Every workflow needs a trigger. Now look on the top here. I didn't do anything. It named it Evergreen Newsletter and the trigger. And this is why sometimes you have to come in here and complete things, right? So here, the trigger, it says no filter filled, because the API still doesn't have the capacity to do that yet. And so if we had given it the form, the name of the form, it would have selected it. So that was something that I didn't put in, but that is easy to do it. So once you open the trigger, this is what it is. The trigger is a form submitted. And what kind of form? So this is where we use the filters, and we come here and then we look for our form, right? And we are not doing terms and condition, but we are doing a form because it's a form submitted. It could be a form about the contract of your terms and conditions, your business contract, whatever. So this is a form for it's a form, and the form that we are looking for, we have two forms here, and we have the demo form, delete, and then we have the newsletter form, which we just created, during this in the last 5 minutes. So we select that form. If you want to select multiple forms, you can do that, but in this scenario, it's only one form that we are going to use, and then we click save. So now our trigger is great. Our trigger is good. We might also want to come into each email and then see what is going on. Like, every action has a name. So as we said in the trigger, send them a welcome email immediately, and then after that you wait 7 days. So here you want to put, depending on how you've configured your email, maybe on the global level you have the from name, and then from email is going to pick those global settings. But if it's not set up, then you have to put, so I will put Eric Baykes, right? And then I will put an email, let's say from Eric Biggs at example.com. You can use any email, but you want to make sure that you are using your right email so that you increase your deliverabilities, right? It has already populated the subject line for us, so we don't have to do anything here. If you don't like it, you change it. So welcome to, let's say, let's say Biggs Cloud, Base Cloud newsletter, right? You can do whatever you want, but you can add a preview if you want. But it has populated everything for you. It even use custom values so that it addresses them. Now, if it says contact name, it means that it's just going to use the contact's full name. So maybe we want to change that. We want to address them with their first name. So instead of, so we do contact dot first name first and first underscore name, right? And then you close the bracket with a curly bracket. Or alternatively, you can do this, and all that you need to do is to come here, and this is your custom values. Like I said, you pick all dynamic values. It's the same thing, custom values or dynamic values. And this is the contact's first name we are looking for. So you come to contact, there's company, user is referring to me, whoever is setting this app, right? There's appointment and all that kind of stuff, but we are interested in the contact, and we want to address them with their first name because that's the only thing that we ask them, right? So we use that here, contact, the first name, it gets populated, we put our comma, And the first name, even adds our signature and everything. The signature is something that it's a default, it's built in right away. When you create your account, it creates it with your name and all the information that you set on your profile. So now this is great to go, right? There are so many options you can do here if you want to track links and all that, that is advanced stuff. But here there is a wait. We are waiting 7 days. So maybe every Monday we want to start this, 7 o'clock. It's going to wait 7 days, exactly the same time it's going to send it every day. So we are waiting 7 days. If we want to wait 7 hours, we can do that. We can wait in minutes, but you get the whole point. So now this is also good. And the newsletter one is the first one, right? And so the same here, you can add the from email. We are not going to do that. I just showed you that, so I'm not going to repeat that to save some time here, but it's the same thing. You just want to make sure that you set this at the global level so you don't have to do this all the time. And I showed how to do this in last week's demo. So if you want to configure this and you are not sure, just do this manually here, or go and set it up in the global level under marketing in emails, and you can set up all these things without any issue. So you don't have to do this manually all the time. But this is, the first email is going to be, hey, contact name. Thank you for subscribing to our newsletter. We are excited to have you with us, blah, 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 blah. You can change this to whatever name you have. You can format it properly so that it's easy for people to read, all that kind of stuff. Once you are okay with it, you save it, and then it waits another 7 days. This can go on and on and on and on and on for how long? For 1 year, 6 months, right? And this is just an email sequence. But let's assume that we were doing this for, we want to add other actions. We can come here and say, what do we want to do? Maybe we want to send an internal notification. We want to enable something. We want to create a contact. We want to find a contact. We want to update this contact because we took their first name and just their email. Now maybe they add their phone numbers. They added their their um, um, their last name because we did a campaign that they kind of put all these things in there. When that information comes in, it's going to be like a new information. So you want this to be able to detect the previous first name and email, and then the second last name, email with the phone number, and you want to update the contact field, right? Or add some more information to it. There's so much you can do. You can add a tag. So let's say, for instance, somebody subscribes to our newsletter. Yeah, we want to know how many people are getting our newsletter. So once again, we can come here and say, add a tag. Let's say add a tag, and we want to tag them because at the end of the day, we can segment them and say that all those people who subscribe to our newsletter, we want to blast our 50% discount promotion to them, right? So this is how you use your email automation and workflow to segment your contact. So we do add a tag, and then what kind of now add a new tag. So we add it, and now it's selected. We can save it. So here, this is the action, right? And we can name our action so that we can see it right on top when we look at it from the bird's eye view. So tag added, we can say that newsletter subscribers, subscriber tag, right? That is it. So once you look at this from the top, you know what is happening. You don't have to open this to see, oh, what is the name of the tag and all that kind of stuff. But as you see, we can do so much. So right away, the moment they get added to this form, right away, they are tagged as newsletter subscriber, and then they get their first email. They wait 7 days, and this can go on and on. And you can add more different actions that you have, right? There's a ton of different action. If I want to assign a task to a team member, I can do that. If I say that, okay, call this customer, once they hit the newsletter, call them, I can do that. I can assign that customer or that lead to a member of my team. I can remove that. I can enable or block their number. I can add notes to it. And all of this can be automated. You don't have to set this all the time. You can do it just once and forget about it. You can send them email, you can send them Slack, you can call them, you can leave them a voicemail, you can messenger them, Instagram DM. So there is so much you can do with these actions, right? And so, you can go crazy and you can be on steroids with this thing here. But we're not going to do that right now. I just wanted you to get the basic understanding of how these things work. So right now, what we are going to do is to publish this. If you don't publish it, it's not going to work. So we are going to publish it. And once we publish this, it's live. So we do this and then we save it. Guys, if this is adding some value to your business, please give me some ones here and let me know how you are going to use this. What kind of workflow do you have? I'll be happy to talk to you about. Please like this video, if this is making sense to you, and also share with anybody you think this is going to help, especially the business owners. And I'm ready to answer all your questions. So instead of dropping your questions, after this session, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section of this video and I will answer them personally. I promise I take care of these things, every day. So I'll be happy to talk to you. I'll be happy to answer your question. So let me know. Now, let's go back to our forms and fill out a form and just see how this is going to work. So we come here, I just put my name here, and then I'm going to put my email. 75. Yeah, let me just put this email here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept the terms. And then this protects you, the business owner, right? Because people are subscribing to so when you send them email, they cannot see you that you are spamming them. So we submit. Now this has been submitted and, we get a feedback. Thank you. We appreciate your feedback. Thank you for taking the time to complete the form. And then we want to go back and check what's going to happen. Now let's check our workflow and see what is happening. So first of all, we can check the email and see if we got anything from the email. But another thing that we want to check is to make sure that, we have somebody in the enrollment. So this is me right here. Look at the time. It was 11:40 when I submitted, right? It's right here. So it says that it has submitted and it's waiting. The next execution is going to be June 10th. That means that it's already sent me the email, the welcome email. So we're going to go check that in a minute. But this is it, right? So every time you come into the enrollment history, you are going to see the execution and when it's next. You can stop it if you don't want it to continue. But that is it. So this is working. And I want to check my email if this is in there. So let me go to my Yahoo real quick and check if I got the email. And let's see here. Let me see, maybe it landed in the spam. Yes. So here we have it here. What is the time? 11:40. So this is not a spam. Let me click on this and say this is not a spam because this is a demo account. It's not set up properly. That is why it went into the spam. That is why I said that this is very important. You have to set up your email. But this is what it says. Hello, Eric. Thank you for subscribing to our newsletter. We are excited to have you with us. You can expect to receive updates, insight, exclusive content, blah, blah, blah. This worked, right? And I will say this is not a spam because I don't want it to categorize my stuff. So now you see how this thing works. And let's go back to our builder. Our workflow here. And now you see how this whole thing works, right? Now, if we want to see the metrics, we can come back to the automation window and then we can go to overview. Once we go to the overview, we can see the number of workflows we have, the number of published workflows we have, the total enrollment, and what have been sent, what hasn't been sent, and what is failing. All those things you can get a dashboard, a beautiful dashboard, and you can see what is happening here. So this is how this whole thing is set up. Like I said, what we did was just for email newsletter. You can do this for any kind of workflow that you have that is repetitive, that happens all the time, and you don't want to be repeating this manually. You can do this, and we'll be happy to help you if you need some help. So I hope this was valuable, and you are going to apply this in your business as soon as possible, because this is going to save you a lot of time. This is going to give you about 20 hours a week back. You set it up once, and then it runs forever. So a recap of what we just did today. We built a case. In this case, the use case was an email newsletter, and then we built the workflow, which we just finished. We built it once, and so once people come in there, they are going to be tagged. And also, just to show you what happened with the tag, let me go to contacts and see if it was able to apply the tag to me. And as you can see here, all these are fake contacts, so don't worry about them. And you can see here that it tagged me a newsletter subscriber. And then also everything that is happening, you can see that in the conversation window. So the email that is sent to me, it was sent here. So this is to tell you that everything is working. We have the tag here. So that is about that, right? And then we delivered the email, which I just showed you. We'll also verify that in my email. This is live, and this is going to run after 7 days. If I don't turn this thing off, 7 days is going to send me the next one, and then this is going to send it to me every Wednesday at 11:40 a.m. It's going to send this. If I leave this for 1 year, it's going to do this every week for 1 year. So that is the power of workflow automation, email automation sequences. And so if you are ready to launch your own email sequence, watch this demo again if you have your own Go High Level account. If you don't have Go High Level account, we are going to drop the email, the link for the Go High Level tool, so that you can test drive it for only $1. You can, and now Go High Level is doing a promotion for 90 days. So you get it half price, 50% off, right? So you get it for 14 days to try. And then after that, you get it for 50% off. So this is a great opportunity. This is a great time to subscribe Go High Level and test drive it. I mean, you still have 14 days to decide. Once you decide, then you get 50% for the next 90 days. And all their AI agents are also for free for the next 90 days. So once you log in, you are not going to charge for their AI agents, and they have a suite of AI agent for reviews, for answering all your messages and your calls, and what have you, bots sitting on your chat bot sitting on your website, and all those things. So this is a great time to lock in your 90-day 50%, and you'll be glad you did. This is going to save you thousands of dollars every month. And so once again, if you're a business owner and you want to implement some of these workflows in your business, and you don't have the time or you don't know how to do it, we'll be happy to help you out. I'm also open to listen to you. Whatever business ideas you have, I'll be happy to talk to you about and help you take your business to the next level. And I hope this was really useful. And let me know in the chat if this was really worth your time. Drop me some tools in the chat. Let me know. And let me know in the comment sections, what kind of videos do you want, right? If I don't know, if I know what you want, I will be able to do some good demos for you, because most of these demos are coming from a few subscribers. They tell me that they want to see this, they want to see that. So if you have anything that you want to learn in Go High Level, you want to learn how to do this, let me know in the comment section, not in the chat because it disappears right after this, but let me know in the comment section what kind of videos you want to see. And if that works and we have a lot of people looking for that, then I will take that time to do that video for you. So once again, if you are not a subscriber to this channel, please subscribe to this channel because it helps to make the channel grow, and share this with other business folks who might need to hear this, and click and like this video and give your comments. And as usual, we are going to meet again next week, same time, Wednesday, 11 a.m. EST, 3 p.m. GMT. And without any questions and without any issues, I will seek your permission to see you next week. Until we meet again, thank you very much for your time.